Good morning, brothers and sisters. Today, I come before you with a heavy heart but a determined spirit. For we are living in a time when silence speaks louder than words, and that silence is harming us all. In this past year, we have seen the struggles of our immigrant brothers and sisters magnified to unbearable heights. Families torn apart, lives uprooted, children left to wonder if they will ever see their parents again. Mass deportations are happening in the shadows, while those in power sit comfortably in their silence, profiting from pain. For-profit detention centers churn out millions while our humanity is thrown away like refuse. And speaking of refuse, let us not forget the immigrant garbage truck drivers killed on the job, their lives treated as disposable as the waste they carried. What would Jesus do? I'll tell you what he wouldn't do. He wouldn't stay silent. He wouldn't look away. Jesus stood with the downtrodden, the oppressed, the ones society cast aside. He called out hypocrisy wherever he found it, and today we must do the same. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." He marched, he preached, he shouted for workers' rights, for federal protections, for the basic dignity every human being deserves. But where are our leaders now? Where are the voices in Congress, the voices in the pulpit, the voices in the streets? Too many are silent, and that silence, it cuts like a knife. And now, some conservative Christians tell us to vote for Donald Trump again. They say he is chosen, ordained, the path forward. But I ask you, where was he when workers cried out for help? Where was he when the for-profit prisons made slaves out of our incarcerated? Where was he when immigrant families begged for mercy? He was not with us. He was with the elites, the profiteers, the ones who see people as commodities and not as children of God. And let me be clear, the hypocrisy is not just in one party. The elite, the corporations, and those who benefit from division and suffering, they come in all shapes, sizes, and affiliations. They tell us to wait, to trust the system, to accept the scraps we are given. But the system has failed us since 1972 when workers first called for a National Workers' Compensation Commission. 50 years later, our cries remain unanswered. So today, I ask you to rise up. Do not be silent. Speak out for those who cannot speak for themselves. Demand justice for the immigrant workers, the garbage truck drivers, the detained, the incarcerated. Let us call out the hypocrisy in the pews, in the boardrooms, and in the halls of power. What would Jesus do? He would speak. He would fight. And he would remind us all that the least among us are the greatest in the eyes of God. Let us follow that example. Let us be the voice for change, the hands of compassion, and the feet that march toward justice. Can I get an amen?
Every day a worker falls, but who will hear their call? In the land of liberty, justice seems so small. We cry out for compassion, we scream for human rights, but our leaders and our shepherds turn away from the fight. Silent no more. We won't be ignored. We'll rise up and roar. For justice we implore. Silent no more. We can't close the door on the cries of the workers. We're leaving the school. Rev Barber, Rev Sharpton, where's your righteous flame? Dr. King would never let this be done in his name. Jesus was a carpenter, an injured man of grace. Would you silence his suffering, turn away your face? Silent no more. We won't be ignored. We'll rise up and roar. For justice we implore.
Sunday morning sermon, a call to conscience for the silent shepherds. Brothers and sisters, gather round this Sunday morning as we confront the complicit silence of those who should be our champions. Reverend William Barber, Reverend Al Sharpton, where is your voice for the injured workers of America? We stand here, united in faith and purpose, seeking justice for those who toil tirelessly yet suffer in silence. Our community looks to you, our leaders, to speak out against the injustices faced by our brothers and sisters. The silence is deafening, and the need for advocacy has never been greater. Let us not forget the sacrifices made by these workers, and let us demand the change they so desperately need. Together we can amplify their voices and bring about the justice they deserve. Every day, a recycling worker dies on the job, facing perilous conditions that most of us can't even imagine. These workers, who are the backbone of our recycling industry, risk their lives to ensure a cleaner environment for all of us. In this land of opportunity where the American dream promises safety and prosperity, yet these workers are often overlooked, their sacrifices unnoticed. Yet where is the outcry? Where are the voices demanding justice for these unsung heroes? The silence is deafening, and the lack of action is a stark reminder of the injustices they face daily. Reverend Barber, Reverend Sharpton, you who stand in the lineage of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who fought tirelessly for the rights of the oppressed and the marginalized, where is your outcry for the injured, the oppressed, the silenced? These workers need your voice, your advocacy, your leadership. They need champions who will stand up and demand safer working conditions, fair wages, and the respect they deserve. The time for action is now. Dr. King spoke boldly against the injustices faced by the working class. His words resonated deeply, echoing the struggles and aspirations of millions who sought equality and justice. He was a beacon of hope, a symbol of relentless pursuit for a better tomorrow. But today our leaders rally for Medicare for all, a cause that seeks to provide healthcare as a fundamental right for every citizen. This movement aims to ensure that no one is left behind, that everyone has access to the medical care they need. They shout for a $15 minimum wage, advocating for fair compensation that reflects the true value of labor. This demand is a call for dignity, for the recognition of the hard work that sustains our economy. Yet, despite these efforts, they remain silent on the federal human rights issues of our injured workers. These individuals, who have given their strength and health to their jobs, often find themselves abandoned, their struggles ignored. This silence is not just complicity, it is a betrayal. It is a failure to uphold the principles of justice and equality that Dr. King so passionately championed. We must remember his legacy and continue to fight for the rights of all, ensuring that no voice goes unheard and no injustice remains unchallenged. Doctors lie to deny injured workers their rights, granted state immunity to do so. Is this not a modern-day crucifixion of justice? We demand you, faith leaders, to break your silence. Break the silence, join the fight for justice. #Justice for Workers, #Break the Silence, #Faith in Action, #Workers' Rights.